when I'm not taking a second to really think about how bizarre the career path of Darius Rucker has been. I like to answer questions that I get on YouTube, so let's get to it. Can you use a 2-5-1 to lead to any chord in a key? 2-5-1 to D minor, or E minor, for example. Or do you just use 2-5-1 non-diatonically for the 4 chord, the F major 7 you used? Thanks, Sean. Love your videos, by the way. Great question, and the answer is yes, you can use a 2-5-1 absolutely anywhere. So I want to really just recap what a 2-5-1 is. In any key, let's take the people's key of G. There are 7 notes, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then G again. Every single one of those notes can become its own chord, and we number them depending on their scale degree in the major scale. So G, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the most powerful force in music, aside from Beyonce, is the pull that the 5 chord has to the 1 chord. So what that means is if you're in the key of G, and you play a D, that D wants to go back to G, to resolve on G, okay? Even more so if you make that 5 chord a dominant 7 chord, D7 to G, okay? Now, the step beyond that is pulling something in the direction of the D7 to get you back to G. So what you think of then is like, okay, well, let's think of the key of D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. D, E, F sharp, G, A. Okay, in the key of D, A is the 5, right? But in the key of G, A is the 2. So the 2 chord in G kind of leads us to D's chord, which is the 5 of G. So it's the 5 of the 5. I did another video on this. But I think more importantly, a great way to think about how you can use this to your advantage to maybe craft cool song progressions, chord progressions and stuff, is to not think so much diatonically in one key. When you think of the 1 chord, like I said, we've just been playing in the key of G, so I think of, obviously, a G, right? But think of that number 1 chord in a 2-5-1 as just being a target chord regardless of what key you're in. So let's say I've got something cool in G, right? I've got like a super basic, like a 1, 6, 4, 5, right? So G, E minor, C major, D, right? But say I want something to go to like an F major. Maybe I want to take the whole thing down a step into the key of F, or I just want to kind of jam on F for a while. Let's think of F as being a target, and even though we're in the key of G still, how are we going to get to that F major chord? Really just think of that as a 1, find out where its 2 is, where its 5 is. You'll know that the 2 of F is G minor, F's 5 is C major, back to F. So you're kind of subtly manipulating how these chord progressions work, but it's also important, kind of like what he said, like say you want to go to a minor chord, you can still think of like a 1 as being a minor chord. Let's say I actually want to go to F minor, right? You can still do everything. You can still do like a minor to into a minor chord. It doesn't always have to be like a 1 parent key major. So I think that's like a really important kind of thing to distinguish that. You know, I don't always need to lead back to the 1 chord in a key. I just know I want to take it to this chord. Just randomly choose 1 progression and then 1 chord, right? And then be like, all right, well, how am I going to get to that chord from here? Well, a great way to do it is to find out where your target chord is and find a 2-5-1 to that chord, regardless of where you're at, whether it's major, whether it's minor, anything like that. Another really cool thing that I think is a practical way to think of a 2-5-1 is to create maybe like a arpeggio-based lick from that. So what I mean by that is like we have a G major chord, right? We already established that the 2 chord in G is A minor, the 5 chord is D, D7 if you're nasty, and then you go back to G, right? So that's all well and good, but it's like, okay, G. Maybe you don't want it to sound like that because that could be kind of like a basic type, you know, jazzy type feel, right? But what you could do is you can make a little bit of a lick out of it. So let's take an A minor arpeggio, where I'm just, the 5th fret on the E string is an A. I'm going to go 5, 7, 8, and then 7A to kind of get like a minor arpeggio, right? So instead of going like A minor, B, 7, G, I can maybe and then kind of make a lick out of a 2-5-1, which again is just, I'm just playing an arpeggio from A minor, 5, 7, 8, 7A, or A, B, C, E, then go to the D, the 5 chord, which is, again, the 5th fret on the A string, 5, 7, 9, and then the D string, 7th fret, and then maybe get to that G as a single note, our 1, right here, bum, 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 bum. So we got. So I'm kind of, making my way through a 2-5-1, so on and so forth. So there's like a million different things that you can do with it. I really think kind of like just seeing the lead stuff is a great way to kind of start experimenting with it. But again, think of a 1 as being a minor chord that you want to work to. Think of, you can make the 2 a major chord. That's another really common thing to do. Like again, in the key of G, a lot of times you'll see a major chord, even though that's not technically in that key. Feel free to use it. I think really just having those number systems as far as like 1, major, 2, minor, 3, minor, 4, major, 5, major, 6, minor, 7, minor, 7, flat 5 are diminished, back to 1, is how you need to start thinking about these when you're beginning. But once you know how it works, then just flip them around, major to minor, all that kind of stuff. Maybe put all sorts of different chord voicings on there, and I think it's really going to help you out, and it will help you lead to maybe new chord progressions and open up a whole new world that you never even thought possible. And one last quick on just how to always find a 2-5-1. Just take whatever note that you're going for, again this G. The 2 is easy. It's always going to be 2 frets higher, 1 step higher than the 1, and the 5 is always going to be just down a string from the 2. So even if you're just playing a bass, 2, 5, 1. Again, that's on the E string. Let's say your root is on the A string, right? That's still going to be the same. You can still do the exact same thing. There's your root note, the 5th fret of the A string. The 2, a step higher. The 5 is down. You can go to the 2 below. So we have D being the 1, 2, and then the 5 is going to be below it. So D, it's 2 chord, 5, 1. So really just kind of those little fretboard locators, however you want to see them, kind of like touchstones, is a great way to remember that stuff. Now I will definitely love to enter in this. Looks and performs awesomely for a first pedal indeed. Grateful for the giveaway, man. So if you didn't see the video from yesterday, I demoed the MXR clone looper. Awesome pedal, 150 bucks, super ruggedly built, has a lot of features that you'd expect in a loop pedal, a lot more expensive than that. Sounds great. Definitely click the link below to enter it because we're doing a giveaway that I'm going to announce next week. So if you have a second, I think it might be US only, but just double check in that link. Again, don't blame me for that. I'm not the one that comes up with the rules. But yeah, check that out.
Did you install Elixir strings on both? Otherwise, you just wasted everyone's time. A turd sounds good with elixirs. All tailors have elixirs. Orangewood comes with only ball strings. Don't quit your day job. If you didn't put the same strings on both, you wasted our time.
This is a salty comment from a shootout I did from my Orangewood guitar versus my Taylor guitar. And you know what? It is kind of crass for him to have spoken to me in that manner. But he does have a point. Oh, no, wait, no, he doesn't. At the very beginning of the video, before the shootout even said, I explained very clearly, elixirs come stock on Taylors, Ernie Ball come stock on Orangewood. I put new elixirs on both of these strings to make this a decent shootout, right? At the very beginning of the video, I specifically say that I did exactly what he's complaining about me not doing, just in case that's not what I didn't do. Which, how weird is that? Like, it's one thing to be an internet troll. Like, I don't understand, but I do understand when it comes to that kind of thing. But to click on a video and then start flaming it for something that you're assuming it's not going to do correctly without even watching it for a second. Why are you even on the internet looking at videos? I don't even understand. So for listening homework, I'm going to throw you to an awesome artist, Adrianne Lenker. She is actually the lead singer for the band Big Thief, which I'm a huge fan of, and I've shouted out on this channel a couple times before. I also kind of talked about this on the podcast I'm doing with Justin, so I'll link you to that too if you haven't checked that out. But such a cool songwriter, such a great vibe, lyrically, vocally, very kind of Elliott Smith reminiscent. So check her out for sure. Very cool musician. Always interested to hear what you guys think, so hit me up in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website. I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.